Welcome to Movie World Plus, the place where we talk movies, plus streaming, plus whatever we want to talk about in Hollywood. And today I'm reviewing Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac, Marvel's latest series. Now, I got to say, look, those of you who've been watching and following me, I have not loved all of these Marvel series. I feel like some of them feel a little too stretched. Some of them just don't hold up. They've had some great moments, but I got to say, regarding Moon Knight, I was pleasantly surprised. And the reason being was because this didn't feel like anything else Marvel. This felt like its own standalone new story, a tone and look that I just feel like we haven't seen any before yet. It does still have sort of a mixture of things that I feel like, yes, we have seen. But as a standalone series for Marvel, I got to give this one a thumbs up. I did enjoy this show. Now, the show itself is around a character lot. I mean, most people, newbies, don't really know of the character Moon Knight from the comics. I'm not as educated either. But I know this adaptation is definitely a little bit different from some of the more extreme versions of the comics that I have heard about. This version of the show, the character, follows Oscar Isaac, who is fantastic in this show. He's fantastic in the show. And he's, in a way, almost doing like a Tom Hardy from Venom, but like way more serious. I don't want to make that to sway you, but there's he's got this multiple disorder. I don't want to get into too much of his plots, but he's clearly, we meet him on episode 1 and he's chained himself to the bed. He's put tape on the door because he has these dreams that feel very real, and so real that he wants to sort of prove that he's not getting up at night and living them. And so he's a everyday guy, works at a museum shop, and we start seeing visions and little keys to this other character in his head who is Moon Knight, as we later sort of come to learn. It's a cool little twist, and again, it has a Venom vibe in that I really liked that part of Venom. I thought Tom Hardy juxtaposing with his voice and then the thing, like there's something fun there. Take away the comedy and do it in a more serious way. Some nods and fun, but a more serious version of that Tom Hardy back and forth, and that definitely is the closest thing I can sort of tell you as to the feel and difference of Moon Knight. It's different than Venom, but it borrows that plot element. Overall, it's more of like The Mummy. I saw some people sort of earlier on trying to compare it to National Treasure. I don't think it's that crazy. We saw 4 episodes of the 6. It's more Mummy, I would say, but I would say a little bit more serious. It has the tone of like the Netflix shows. It definitely feels more like a Daredevil world than anything else we've seen in Marvel, which is another reason why I like this. Ethan Hawke as the bad guy is fantastic. I'm just a really big Ethan Hawke fan in general, and seeing him play this the bad guy, which I won't. Again, I'm not going to get into too many plot specifics of the show because I don't want to spoil things as you guys get to have it unwrap. He's really good. I'm a fan of him, and it's nice to see him play a villain. And he's very calm and collected, and we'll see more as it goes. From the episodes that we did see, I will say that I like that I was able to binge it, to be honest. That may make it better to hold off on this one. This one doesn't have like those amazing, like, oh my God, this, and oh my God. I would say episode 4, at the end of episode 4 is when things go, wait, what? There is a sort of a plot adjustment then, no spoilers. There's a plot adjustment at the end of 4 that kept me very intrigued. I think it would have been nice to see the whole show, obviously, but smart of Disney to at least give us the first 4 out of 6 so we could give you guys a heads up that, yeah, over the first 4 episodes, it is interesting. Now, this format of Disney Plus of the stretching out, I don't know. Are these better as bingeable shows? Would Moon Knight have been better as a standalone movie, like a TV movie on Disney Plus? We shall see. That's my biggest criticism of these Disney Plus shows. They're creating them to give content for Disney Plus, and they're forcing them to be, 50-minute. These are all about 48 and 50-minute episodes, so it's a little longer than usual. But it's clear that they need weekly content. Disney Plus is just investing a lot, but doesn't have a ton of content, so they parse them out. And I do have to admit, would this have just been better off as a cool movie that people could have checked out as a 2-hour thing? Maybe. Part 1 and part 2 of like 2 2-hour movies, and they could have maybe tightened things up. We'll see. I got to see the final 2 episodes, but I do think there was some filler in the 4 episodes that, again, could have been tightened, but not enough for me to say thumbs down. Overall, the vibe of this film, which takes place in Egypt and in the city as well, is, again, a darker... It's like if Daredevil and the Mummy mixed, is what I feel like this is. They're, he goes on a hunt for a object at a certain point, and there's a lot of, like, back and forth... there's another let me another tone that I think is actually on board is Umbrella Academy, which Jeremy Slater, who is the guy who oversaw this show, developed that as well. And Umbrella Academy was a cool show. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to get into it. I sort of put it off, and then as soon as I invested and watched it, I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a different new world. It felt different than the Marvel stuff. And I do feel a little of that vibe parlaying into Moon Knight. Again, the biggest compliment I can give Moon Knight is that it feels different. While it has these shades of, sure, there's Mummy and there's a little bit of a Venom aspect to the character, overall, the story, the adventure, Oscar Isaac himself, it all just feels different than what I've seen the MCU traditionally do. And I would argue this does feel cooler in a way than some of the Netflix shows did. Those did feel more like procedurals. This feels more like a big budget movie version of that. So overall, I got to say, yeah, the real reason I think I'm sold on this is Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac proves himself in this film. He's playing dual roles, and it's a fun performance. I like both of his characters as he sort of realizes, and he looks in the mirror to sort of talk to his inner self at times, as he's sort of wrestling in his own mind as to what's real and who's real. They definitely take their time and sort of trying to unveil what's actually happening, but by the 4 episodes, you really do figure it out pretty quickly, and I got invested, and I appreciated that. If I had just seen episode 1, would I be as invested? I would. Yeah, I liked episode 1. I did like episode 1. I think people are going to be impressed by episode 1. I think episode 2 and 3 do feel like, all right, get us to episode 4, which then was, I think, 1 and 4 to me are the standout episodes of these first 4. But overall, yeah, it's an interesting storyline that's progressing. It's an interesting character that I wonder, can he live within the other MCU characters? That's TBD. But right now, I'm invested in this new series. I like that it's 6 episodes. Again, there's no reason why we can't make shorter stories, Marvel, shorter standalone stories with these sort of ancillary characters in the comics that weren't huge deals. But let's give them an opportunity to shine with a really good actor and a good showrunner in Jeremy Slater and Oscar Isaac, and then Ethan Hawke as the bad guy. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'd like to see more of. So. It's not connected. There's no mentions of Thanos and things, like, thank God. It's just a nice standalone piece that I feel like anybody could sit and watch this without feeling like they need to have the entire MCU canon in their head before enjoying it. So, but will they still enjoy it? It's definitely still Marvel-esque in its characters. Now, Moon Knight he is in it. I remember hearing Jody where he's barely going to be in the show. He's in it. Not a ton, but he's in every episode. It's sort of like the build-up. You're waiting for each episode for Moon Knight to arrive, to do the thing, to fight the bad guys. But he's there, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. I will admit that. But I think in the first 4 episodes, they do a good job of setting this character up, and I'm hoping in the final 2 we'll get even more. But I won't explain what this is, what you're seeing. But there's multiple characters is how I'll say in this film. Multiple characters in this film that will unveil themselves that I think, thanks to Oscar Isaac, more of you are going to enjoy than not. So yes, at the end of the day, I do recommend checking out Moon Knight. It's just refreshing to have something different in the MCU canon that doesn't feel like you have to know all the other Marvel homework, which I do, and I'm going to keep following. But kudos for them for trying something different. What do you guys think? Are you excited, or what did you guys think when you see episode 1 tomorrow? Let me know when you come back in the comments down below. Smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe here to Movie World if you haven't already. For more movie content, I'm trying to at least post a couple times a week. More on the way. Appreciate all you guys supporting me over here on this channel as well. Thanks for watching.